Hello, Chiefs Kingdom, and welcome to the Arrowhead Kingdom Chiefs cast live from the Wolf Den. I'm Chris.
And I'm Josh, and today we're going to be talking about Week 11. And a big reminder that all Chiefs fans are invited to join us for game day. Please visit arrowheadkingdom.org to learn more about your group and to find your local chapter. And please make sure, of course, to like, share, and subscribe to this channel.
Today we will be talking about the Kansas City Chiefs, going back over their glorious win over the Dallas Cowboys, and then looking over what is the bye week this weekend.
All right, and we are, of course, presented by Complete Weddings and Events, your leading provider of photo, video, DJ, photo booth, lighting, and coordination services. Visit them at completewedo.com for all your party needs. And all right, so we got a win this last week, and that was, what, 3 times in a row?
Something like that, yeah. It was, I count 3 of them. We're going to count those without Aaron Rodgers on the Green Bay one and without an interception thrown by Mahomes in the last one, or Dak for that matter. So, you know what? A W is a W as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, if this was Major League and Lou Brock was talking, he would say, we won a game. If we won another one today, that's called 2 in a row. If we won a third one, that's called a winning streak. It has happened before. So we're on a winning streak.
For heart attack.
All you guys do good is make excuses. Who needs heart attack? Me.
Yeah. I mean, obviously a W is a W, but I got to tell you, after that win, it's just not it doesn't feel the same, the same kind of dominance. However, I'm not going to get upset about that because I think our defense has really stepped up. And a lot of non-believers in game around the 3, 4, 5 game territory. I think they're eating a little bit of crow right now, and maybe we'll let them back in. You know, those bandwagon jumpers. Maybe we'll let them back in. You know, I don't know. How do you feel about that? But we've all seen them online where they've got a lot of them are saying pitchers and catches report in 172 days. I'm like, oh, shut up. Okay, baseball will come back around. It's football season.
Wow.
Remember that? You guys see that? I saw that.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's out there, but they can't be serious. Come on.
I've seen all of this, and you know what I think we're finding out is that the Chiefs have a massive fan base right now, and I certainly think that there's some bandwagon stuff going on, but more than anything, I just think you have a lot of people that don't really know how to deal with their emotions at this point, and maybe we as a fan base just need to go to some good constructive therapy to figure out how to deal with our emotions. We're kind of a bunch of adolescents that just had a miserable life growing up, and then all of a sudden we got a taste of the good life these past few years. We don't really know how to deal with adversity, and we're going to get through this.
Took the words right out of my mouth. I think the Chiefs fan base, some of them, not all, but maybe the ones who are asking when the Royals start playing again, maybe we need some therapy. Not in a way that's like, you know, something's defective about you, but we just need to work through a few of our emotions a little bit, learn how to give you the tools you need in order to comprehend and work through these things.
And I don't even think there's medication involved aside from, you know, things like
you're gonna throw pills at them.
Which, by the way, tonight we're not being sponsored by, but I'm drinking Fernson Lion Paw Lager, which is a nice brewery in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. I checked them out last night, picked up a 6-pack afterwards, really liked it. I imagine they'd probably be more apt to sponsor a Vikings kind of webcast, if you will. But if they pick up the phone and call us, we're taking sponsors like normal.
Mm-hmm. Very nice.
Yeah. So so things are going well again. We're leading the AFC West. Pittsburgh almost gave us a real nice hand if they would have taken care of business against the Chargers. That was a pretty fun game to watch. It was kind of a roller coaster ride. Mm-hmm. The Raiders went ahead and lost again. Like I kind of thought they were going to do the whole season. They were 3-0, and I'm like, I don't believe it. I don't believe it, just for the simple fact that it's the Raiders. But anyway,
when should I remember, like when it was game 3 or 4 and the Broncos were winning the AFC West and they were posting all those memes making fun of us? And when do you think I should like push back and start making fun of them? I don't want to do it yet. Should probably wait closer to the playoff time.
Probably after we whoop their ass next Sunday night.
Week 13 is against the Broncos, so I think we can wait until then. And you know, as we were talking about last week, we have 4 division games again. I would pencil us in to beat the Chargers. I would write with a permanent marker in for us to beat the Raiders at home. The 2 games of those 4 that scare me the most are the 2 against the Broncos. I'm going to be completely honest. You know, they seem to be a team that can get up on a day, and I know they're going to get up against the Chiefs just for the simple fact that we've beaten them a lot of times here recently, and I know that it makes the players really mad. So I expect the best effort from the Broncos. I expect a Chargers effort from the Chargers, and I don't know that the Raiders are going to have any effort by the time we play them, and that's 3 weeks from now. So,
Oh my gosh.
but before we get too far ahead into the rest of the schedule, let's talk about this last game a little bit. So, Chris, what were your major observations from this game against the Cowboys?
That game took me back to Alex Smith years, because it really had the vibe of, okay, Andy Reid opens up the playbook first quarter, most of the second quarter, defense is playing well, team protects the lead, and then Andy scales back in the second half trying to protect the football. And I got a lot of that vibe sitting there watching that game, and it worked fine. I mean, I think that the defense, I think they're for real. And I'm going to be writing about this here soon, but there are a lot of things that have happened in the last, month to month and a half that have built up to now what this defensive unit is, by whether it's coaching decisions or just getting guys healthy. And we're kind of seeing what we thought we were going to get back in the preseason out of this unit. It's hard to find a real weak spot in this defense when 49 and 56 aren't out there. But the D line's looking really good. The linebackers, Willie Gay, he had himself a day on Sunday. I'm pretty sure Zeke Elliott's going to keep feeling that hit on the sideline he got from him. Oh. And then, the secondary, once Steve Spagnuolo wised up and started playing Juan Thornhill majority of the snaps, name me a corner that you can pick on right now if you have Fenton, Ward, and Snead out there. They're really solid right now in all three levels.
Well, let's also be fair. It's kind of amazing what happens to the defensive backfield when you get any kind of pass rush up front. Mm-hmm. And I to me, that's been a big adjustment. That was really kind of the next place I wanted to go is we were all down on the defense. The entire world was down on the defense. And I think it was justifiably so, just based on the numbers that they were putting up. And so you kind of started to get into what changed. Brian, what do you think changed?
I think Chris covered a lot of that right there. I don't know if it was energy or just adjustments in terms of, with Chris Jones doing with the kind of day he had. I don't know if it's just who knows what kind of athletic adjustments there were. Seemed like there was a lot more. Putting more pressure on the quarterback, and I don't know. Perhaps the Cowboys O-line is just not what we're expecting, or was not as up to snuff of what our defenses, our defensive line was supposed to do. That could be. But I tend to think that Chris Jones saw an opportunity. Maybe there was a mismatch between him and who was up against throughout the game. And he was able to put the kind of pressure consistently to put Dak in a tough position to make any kind of tough throws. 3 field goals, no touchdowns from Dak. He had a QB rating of 10, I think. Was it that right? He had a 10 day, while Mahomes had a 45. And so
QBR.
QBR. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I was talking about fantasy. I'm sorry. The fantasy ratings. Yeah. The QBR was 10. Gotcha. And Mahomes had a 45, which was obviously below average, not what we're used to. However, we got the W. But I gotta say, to kind of flip the script here a little bit. I was impressed with Cowboys, their defense. They made a lot of stops with whenever we got the ball back and we started gaining momentum. They found ways to stop us enough in ways that the score could have been a lot worse than what it was. They found ways to make us kick whenever we were moving the ball down, moving the ball well, or we were within their territory, and they just found ways to hold us to 3 points. So I do think their defense is legit. I think anyone would agree with me. I was looking at other commentators throughout the week saying the same thing, like they were doing their job. They were holding them at just the offense, and Dak was not producing at the level that $70 million quarterback seems to be making. But that's that's kind of the breaks. And this is kind of probably the Cowboys after the first 7 or 8 games, whatever it was. This is kind of their big test right here, and it didn't work out for them. So they have a lot of soul searching to do and seeing what kind of adjustments they need to make. If they are, I see that they are considered a Super Bowl still discussion team, or at least an NFC Championship game team. And after what I saw at Arrowhead, I'm like, I don't know. They look like we could run over them pretty well, and we weren't. And Mahomes only played at a 45 QBR. So this doesn't look like that, but I could be wrong. Maybe it was just kind of a rough day for Dak, but we'll see. But yeah, they're still in the Super Bowl discussion, if not the NFC Championship discussion. So we'll see what happens. But I didn't see it on Sunday.
Yeah, so I have 2 comments. For me, the defensive resurgence is a handful of things. First and foremost, I'm inclined at this point to just take the face value commentary that Frank Clark, in particular, wasn't right at the beginning of the season and he wasn't healthy, and that there was a little bit of that with Chris Jones as well. So I'm inclined to believe that health is probably the biggest part of this, that more than anything, and that we just need to really listen to the guys saying that they were banged up and they finally got themselves right. The second thing, I think it's all personnel decisions. Is like it's like Chris said, 49 and 56. They're not key cog cornerstone type of players anymore. We got Sorensen, we got our rookie and sophomore linebackers in there who are looking like they're going to be studs, and it's just so crazy to make comments that we don't have any glaring holes in defense, because I think that we would have called defense a glaring hole for half the season. And then the third thing, I just think that there's no way that you can understate the impact that Melvin Ingram has had, or there's no way you can overstate the impact that Melvin Ingram has had. And it's just amazing what one disruptive edge rusher, just hungry, aggressive defensive player can do for a unit. And across those 3 things, it seems to be working well. We certainly can, make excuses or listen to Packers fans make excuses why we beat the Packers. You can listen to Cowboy excuses, like there was a lot of drop passes and the running game never really materialized. But the bottom line is that our defense has come proper against 2 of the top teams in the NFC, and we scored enough points to beat both of them, and they both have good defenses. So I don't really know any real reason to pick anything apart, and we should just be happy with the wins, and
Yeah.
Big thing on the league. I feel like we're just seeing that there's more parity than anything, and there's not any team that's going to dominate and walk away with either of the 2 conferences. So, this is wide open.
The other thing for me is I felt like the offense could have scored more if they wanted to in this game. That was the big difference in this game compared to the Packer game. I thought, again, I really do think Andy Reid just basically put training wheels back on his offense and just said, you know what, we're not going to give Dallas the opportunity to come back in this game. They're going to have to earn it. And yeah, I think if they had to, they could have gone down there and scored if they needed to. That I didn't feel that confident against Green Bay, but I did against Dallas.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that. Yeah, for sure. So
I like how the first drive had a little bit of everything, by the way. Real quick, I had a little bit of good passes, check downs. I like to see a scramble run from Mahomes, and then I punched it in for the touchdown. So had a little bit of everything. I like seeing that big jet sweep have a big play and everything. It seems like everyone knows we're running that, but it doesn't matter. We executed it so well, so it does really, apparently, at least against the Cowboys, it did well. So, but yeah, that first drive when we scored the touchdown had a little bit of everything that we've been used to seeing all season. So,
well, typically speaking, those first drives are very scripted. There's nobody better in the business than Andy Reid for having a team ready to go for that first drive. I mean, good God, you look at it, you think we're going to hang 100 on everybody.
That is true.
It's like those guys could go out there with their eyes closed and execute that script. I swear, it's
with
that
the
good.
With the exception of Tennessee, the Titans game.
Well, exactly. But and that said, I mean, every single team that we and everybody else is named as the hands down best has gone out and had a clunker, including ourselves. We've had a couple.
Yeah.
But
yeah, and I really enjoy seeing that. Whenever I saw the Jaguars beat the Bills 9-6, I was like, oh, I feel so good about myself right now.
Exactly. And a lot of it is just we're getting our chemistry and just run together right now. There's there's a possibility that we win these next 6 games after getting through what was probably the toughest of the 7 and end up 13-4, and we could be the number 1 seed. You know, it's just there's no reason to think that's not possible. We definitely shot ourselves in the foot with all the tiebreakers for who we'd potentially be going up against, losing to Buffalo and the Ravens in particular.
Chargers and
Yeah, but here's the thing: the Chargers aren't going to be taking a seat over us because we're going to win the division. That's just it. So we don't have to worry about the Chargers. Buffalo and Baltimore. I have a hard time believing that one of those teams isn't going to at least match us with the record.
And Buffalo's got to play New England twice.
And Tennessee, by the way.
Yeah.
And Tennessee.
Yep.
Yeah. So I mean, as of right now, Buffalo today would be the 7 seed, which is insane. You know, and
that is bizarre. That is.
let's also keep in mind at one point the Cincinnati Bengals were the number 1 seed in the AFC. And 2 weeks later, they aren't even a playoff team. So I mean, we're just in a crazy situation. And you know, if you're going to be in a place of parity, the most important things to have are the best quarterback, best coaching staff, things of that nature. So I mean, this is where having Andy Reid and having Patrick Mahomes, we're going to be going against Bill Belichick. I mean, a trendy pick for the Super Bowl right now is the Patriots. And you can paint a ton of parallels to that first Tom Brady Super Bowl. You have a young quarterback, you have Bill Belichick being the smartest guy in the room. You have just a bunch of teams that are good, but you know, Belichick can crack the code on. But I have to believe that if we were playing in an AFC championship, we've seen Belichick's best against Mahomes. And we've seen it more than once, and Mahomes can score against Belichick. And I have a hard time believing that our defense can't do enough against a Mac Jones and whatever ragtag.
That's the biggest difference right there is our defense. So. Oh yeah. No, I love it. I was listening to it was a writer on Fansided. I think it's Matt Fernandam. He basically said, yeah, man, if the Chiefs defense keeps playing like this, they're going to run the table easily. And it's hard for him to pick anyone over them if their defense keeps performing the way that they are.
Yeah, if we keep up with this, we're going to be a top 10 defense going into the playoffs. Just pick whatever week you want to start with. And
I love it. I love the adjustment.
And that's it. Yeah. So, I mean, I've been bullish on the Chiefs the whole season. Before the Packer game, I threw down money for them to win the Super Bowl.
Nice. Oh, look at you putting the money in your mouth.
Yeah.
Good
no, I was in Illinois and know a ton of people in Illinois. So a friend of mine did the bet on my behalf. But yeah, I totally threw down money that morning from a bar watching a soccer game for the Chiefs to win the Super Bowl.
Nice.
And the only reason I did it then is because he didn't listen to me and play it 2 days before when it was 14-1 instead of 12-1. So there we go. He owes me money if this comes back.
Nice. Nice.
All right. So we've talked about that. We've talked about where we think we are as a team. Anything else from the rest of the AFC or NFC that you guys want to get into?
Tip of the hat to Jonathan Taylor from the Colts. Holy. He had 5 touchdowns in a game. I know this because he was my fantasy player. I put up 52 points as a running back.
We had him too.
Yeah. So any player that puts up more than 50, that's Hall of Fame level fantasy stats.
Yeah. So tip of the hat to that game. I think it was against the Bills, right? So they just mopped the floor with the Bills.
Correct.
If I recall correctly.
Yeah.
And so that was fun to experience. And Kirk Cousins had another good day. He exceeded his projections. And And who else? There was actually quite a few upsets. Chris, tell me, was there like upsets? I remember you were texting us. There's a lot of upsets going on. Was I?
Yeah, this past weekend. Oh yeah, I mean, you got the Texans blowing out the Titans was a pretty big shocker.
That was their clunker right there.
Yeah. Let's see. I've got the scores in front of me. Because there were. I mean, the Colts housing the Bills. Yeah, that was a big surprise.
Yeah, I mean, that one reminded me. So I actually, for the first time in a long time, actually worked on my car. this last weekend, and so I took the day, and I needed new brakes on I drive a minivan because I'm awesome, but I needed new brakes on my minivan, and so I put it up on the lift, and when you go to take the brakes down, you remove the calipers, you start pulling the shoes loose and everything. Well, you have to replace the rotors, and the rotors have a tendency to rust onto the wheels. So you have to take a mini sledgehammer and beat the brakes off. That's what that Bills Texans game was. Yeah, Texans beat the the Colts Bills. The Colts beat the brakes off the Bills. The Texans beat the brakes off the Titans.
I like how the Dolphins have 4 wins and the Bills have 6 wins. So if the Dolphins catch fire, they could do it just as good as the Bills.
They're still in the mix. Yeah,
That'd be
the
funny.
Dolphins still have a shot.
Go Dolphins!
And that's the thing. We called the Bills the best team in the league a number of times, and they can still fix this. But right now, I mean, as much as we can sit here and say that we've most likely turned our season around, that we're going to win the AFC West and can be a playoff contender, I would say the Buffalo could equally say that they're going to be out of the playoffs. I mean, Josh Allen. I was looking at Nick Wright on First Things First put up a graphic that was Josh Allen like 2 years worth of games, and it's just a spike. It's a roller coaster, or it's
like
that,
a sawtooth.
Yeah, it's that stock that everybody pumps and dumps and everything.
Oh right, yeah. When to buy, when to sell.
Yeah, exactly.
I just love how there's not.
Trend,
I like how there's just not. I mean, with the exception of the Cardinals, there's not really one team that's really breakaway level.
They aren't even doing that anymore either.
I know,
Yeah,
and
I
that's,
don't know what to think of
I say that with
Cardinals,
trepidation, but yeah, there's not really. I mean, look at the AFC. Like every one game separates us from the Titans have 8 wins and everyone else has 7 wins in the first place. Yeah, this is just tight. So I guess the cream, as was it Macho Man Randy Savage would say. You ever see that video where he does the promo? He goes, "The cream will rise to the top." Okay, I'll have to send that to you.
Yeah, exactly. No, I've seen it, and that's 100% true. But I mean, I also kind of feel like we're watching the college basketball big dance, and right now we're all being enamored with these upsets and stuff like that. But the Final Four is going to come, and the Final Four is always chalk. It's always chalk.
Well, yeah, it's also like right now we have all these tournaments going on. The Maui Invitational, that you've got a lot of non-con games, and people draw conclusions and start ranking teams. But eventually, over time, the best teams in every conference are going to win their conference in college basketball.
Yeah, you get to the end of the year, it's just like, oh well, I'll be goddamn. Apparently, Kentucky and Duke and Kansas and Syracuse and
maybe Tar Heels a few years from now.
Those teams are good. It's like, I guess we're gonna do this again.
I like that. And football is a funny way of being like that, doesn't it?
Yeah. And it's like
that's kind of like
that loss to UMKC Zoo. I mean, maybe that won't come back to bite you, but hey.
And K-State lost to Fort Hayes last year.
They did.
Fort Hayes.
Oh my God. K-State loses to Fort Hayes.
I'm actually
Missouri
live
loses
from
to
Hayes,
KC.
Kansas with Brian, so we're gonna be there later tonight.
Oh yeah, we're gonna can we replay that on a Roku? We'll have the queue tonight. Is that possible? Can we do stuff like that here? Oh yes.
There you go.
But I just want to say, exciting NFL season, exciting both conferences and leagues. I mean, a lot of fun stuff, and I just like that we are finding our footing. Our defense is finding our footing. I'm glad we got the ish out of the way in the first few, and let's hopefully. I like to see that if we keep this going. Then we'll see. Good things are going to happen. But there was a rough stretch there, but here we are. I'm feeling good.
So any other fantasy stats you guys want to bring up? The one that I want to throw out is that I had a matchup where I speculated on the Chiefs defense because I just had a feeling. And there's a saying in fantasy, Brian, you're going to learn this. There's always going to be one game in any given season where a defense or a kicker wins or loses you a game. Mm-hmm. And it's best to be on the winning side of that as opposed to the business end. And this past week, I won my matchup by 1 point, and Chiefs defense putting up 16 was really pretty much the reason why I attribute that to happening. It was a kind of patchwork week for me, and I pulled that off. So the Chiefs defense is my fantasy tip of the hat this week.
Yeah, I got to go defense too, but I got to go with New England. So I've got them in 2 of my teams.
Oh,
If you
Jesus,
notice,
yeah.
Josh, I beat you by what? I think
You beat me by 2.
less than
So
2
yes,
points. So
I
yeah,
was on both of these
and they
for
scored
this week.
28.
Yeah, they scored
Their
28.
defense is messed up.
It's
Good.
insane. Yeah.
Yeah, they're good. Any former players, friends, anything like that we need to talk about?
No, just Matt Nagy continues to be in the news as far as being on the hot seat and rumors, seemingly new ones every week. Fine, Chicago, fire Matt Nagy so he can rejoin the Chiefs coaching staff. I'm good with that.
Yeah, he and Eric Bieniemy can switch spots.
Hell yeah.
And I mean, seriously, Eric Bieniemy should be a head coach. I would 100% endorse that.
Me too.
Yeah. Week is a song. What do you guys have for music?
Oh, let me think here.
I have got, just because it's in the name, Where Have All the Cowboys Gone by Paula Cole. I mean,
oh, that's.
I mean, you could probably say that for the last 25, 30 years, but
Sure.
Yeah, 95, right?
So the Ted Lasso series, I don't have Apple TV, so I haven't watched any of the new series. I love Jason Sudeikis. Do you guys remember when that character first showed up?
Yeah, I watched all those videos when he said when he was like naming off the different sporting clubs teams, the soccer teams, and he was naming them based on NFL teams, and he called a lot of them the Cowboys because they were great in the 90s.
No, that's exactly where I was going.
Yes.
So this is Ted Lasso. I'm the new coach of the Tottenham Hotspur, which, by the way, that's my favorite team for Premier League. But that was part of a campaign, and I want to say it was 2013 or 2014, but it was when NBC Sports picked up the broadcasting rights, and they actually re-upped this week to show the Premier League. And so you're watching NBC Sports and Peacock Premium if you want to watch the matches. But they had him come out, and the whole first video was just absolutely brilliant because it was making fun of Americans, kind of poking fun at soccer, but also explaining just some of the high-level rules like the offsides and how scoring and things like that work. But yeah, the flashcards you're talking about, they hold up a Manchester United, and it's just like, all right, so this is a team well funded. They won a lot. So people either love them or hate them. He's like, Dallas Cowboys. And then they go to Liverpool, and they're just like, this is another one of those teams. They've been really good for a long time, have a lot of fans. They used to win all the time. They haven't won anything in a really long time. He's like, also Dallas Cowboys. So at the end, he's like, all I know is we're going to beat the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah,
But,
I remember that. And I was telling Eric O'Shea when I interviewed him for the Cowboys discussion about like how it is 95.
That was great, by the way.
Thank you.
Great. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
Great job on that.
Thank you. Yeah, it's really he's fun to talk to, and he's naturally really insightful and fun. And he talked about how I brought up how Dak Prescott was 2 years old the last time the Chiefs won a Super Bowl, and
Cowboys.
The Cowboys. Excuse me. The Cowboys won the Super Bowl. And imagine that he was 2 years old, and I have a 5-year-old now. I know. Josh, you have young kids too, and it's just like, imagine that. That's a long time to wait. Yeah. The Chiefs waited forever too. So, but yeah, but then again, they made their rampage in the 90s, and then now we've had the Tony Romo era, and now that we got Dak Prescott era, and so they have spent a lot of money, and they're expecting a lot of great things, and it just isn't quite there yet, but it's America's team. So it's fun to see them fall flat on their face though.
Yeah, the big difference between the Chiefs and the Cowboys droughts is that the Cowboys still think they lay claim to the throne, which they don't. But that's Cowboy Nation for you.
Brian, you got a song for the week?
How about I was putting together my playlist for the drive home, and that one song by Lizzo called Juice. That's really catchy.
Oh, I love that song.
Juice, baby, all my juice. Yeah.
We're juiced up. I think we got our juice. So and it's a fun song. So I'm gonna go dance to that tonight at the club.
There you go.
So I'm gonna go with a Hamilton song. We'll go with Guns and Ships, which is the one right before the Battle of Yorktown, where they talk about how the tide of the war is turning for the Revolutionary War, and they bring in Lafayette to be a general or whatever. But he has a line. He's like, I went to France for more funds. I come back with more guns and ships. So I kind of feel like that's our defense. That's our guns and ships. We were at the Spags for more funds. He came back with more guns and ships and pass rushing tips. Our defensive backs are looking good and linebackers are stout. Yeah, so there you go. That's where I'm at for this week. Guns and ships.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. That sounds great.
And yes, I made all of that up right now. Anyway, so yeah, what else do we have on the list that we normally talk about? Anything else before we get into final takes?
I don't think so.
No,
I think Thanksgiving, right? Oh, good, Chris.
Yeah, I think this is the perfect time for a bye week. Like I love the fact that they have the bye week the weekend after Thanksgiving. To be honest with you, it's convenient for me as a fan. But yeah, no, I think this is really going to help them even further. And I'm hoping that the offense does some more soul searching in terms of how they're going to adjust to how defenses are playing to them. And, hopefully they can find some second option on the outside, whether it's Josh Gordon or Brian Pringle, just someone that can at least give them, 3-4 catches a game, just to at least help them move the chains. But I think that it's a perfect time for these next 2 weeks to hopefully fine tune some things on offense.
See, and I'd like to see that 3-4 catches, as in 3-4 impactful catches that are big first downs.
Oh,
you're
not thinking 4 for 20.
Yeah, and then add a couple extra just standard issue ones. So just think about Sammy Watkins. He would come up with the drive sustaining 3rd and 8 type of catch, and we need one of them to do that. So
Yep.
All right, so for final takes, I'm going to go ahead and jump first in line here, because I love the comment that you make about the convenience of not having to worry about a football game and being able to catch up with family this weekend and everything. So my final take is going to be Sporting KC kind of limped into the playoffs, and they came in with hey, here we go again. This is going to be an early elimination. Well, they took care of business, and they changed the brakes on the Vancouver Whitecaps in their first match, winning 3-1. And so they knew that they were going to be up this coming Sunday, and the winner that they were going to get was the winner of the Seattle Sounders, who have won a couple MLS Cups. They're a stout team, or Real Salt Lake, who was the underdog. And so if Seattle Sounders would have won, Kansas City would be playing in Seattle this Sunday, but Real Salt Lake managed to park the bus, which is a soccer term for just basically playing stifling defense and playing for a draw. And in a knockout match, that means you're playing for penalty kicks, which is the equivalent of a coin toss. Well, Real Salt Lake Tuesday night won their match. So Sporting KC is hosting a playoff match this Sunday, and I will be there. Go SKC. Really, really looking forward to that. This worked out perfectly, just being back in the Kansas area for this, and I cannot wait to go watch that match, and I'm glad that I don't have to worry about not seeing a Chiefs game at that same time. It's going to be great to relax on the football season for this weekend and watch some SKC taking the MLS Cup this year.
Hell yeah. Sounds good. All right.
SKC.
Can I go?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, guys. Do you know what next week is?
What is it, Brian?
What, Brian?
It's our 1-year anniversary.
Oh,
December 3rd.
I did know that.
Yeah, look at us. 87 videos later. So I'm just going to throw that out there. Here we go. It's just right at a year. So I just want to make the final take. It's been a lot of fun. Got to keep going, keep producing, and hopefully, it's a lot of fun doing this. It's fun doing this, obviously, throughout the off season has its own kind of personality, the regular season, and I think we all agree that the playoffs and getting through that's where that really gets the rubber meets the road and it gets really fun. So hopefully we get to do that again. But yeah, 1 year, go us.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, I've been thinking about that. We should probably
have a birthday cake.
Get together and talk about how we're going to celebrate this.
Yeah.
It'd be funny, Chris, if I never meet you in person. I go my
We
whole
should
life
try
and I
that,
never
yeah.
meet you in person. Like,
I met him.
Or I go to Lawrence while you're there and I don't even make an attempt.
Yeah, you're in front of my house and you wait, but you don't knock on the door and you leave.
Like,
That would be
Brian,
funny.
No, what I
saw
think would be
you,
funny is
Brian,
if you guys FaceTime from his driveway.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
What I've thought about as a funny thing is I think it would be funny to go back and watch our first episode.
Yeah, you want a live reaction?
Because I'm
to
guessing
our
we're pretty
first
awesome in that.
Oh man,
Oh,
I
no
just
doubt.
remember the lighting I had behind me was not good. It's like,
Well, the thing
Yeah.
that was amazing is that within a month of starting that, we're interviewing Christian Okoye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. We went from like, yeah, I get a text from Josh. We're interviewing Christian Okoye. I'm like, what? Cool. Or our first comment was like a Dolphins fan making fun of us.
Yeah.
It was so funny.
Yeah, so we
Oh,
need to
yeah.
get the smack talks going again.
We really do. Okay, yeah, we should
Yeah.
make that a thing coming up here and going into the later part of the season, get the smack talks going.
All right. So yeah, Brian and I are going to be at a bar later tonight. We can have some programming discussions. And then Chris, we'll loop in with you later this weekend.
I'll look for some texts at about what
we
11,
can
12
probably
o'clock
take
tonight.
all this stuff offline.
Yeah,
and
it'll
just
be at
talk
3 in the morning.
about
You're
it.
gonna text. We're gonna like ask you to order us a pizza.
Oh God. All right. Well, happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Enjoy your time with your friends and family. Enjoy all the different football games that you got to watch, and enjoy the weekend off. You know, this is a good time of the year.
It is. Go Chiefs.
Jeez.
Peace.